Well, if we haven't met before, I'm Pastor Bill, and I have the joy of being our location pastor here at Resurrection West. I'm so glad that you are here today, and today we are kicking off a new sermon series called, What Did Jesus Have to Say About Money? And this is, I think for a lot of us, a really pertinent topic. All you have to do is turn on the news or scroll through your news feed, maybe hop onto social media, and you're going to see stories about things like high inflation, rising interest rates, pain at the gas pump, my beard scratching my microphone. It happens. We're going to see stories that sometimes raise fear in us. Not only that, they're actually stories that get used in some of the political division. Even if you feel really good financially, you probably have some places where you've seen an ad or you've seen a campaign or something that has tried to get you mad at somebody else because of the current state of the economy or the current struggles that you're facing or the realities that a lot of us have. So we're going to talk about what Jesus has to say about money. We're going to talk about a different perspective, one that doesn't start with fear, one that doesn't start with this belief that we don't have enough, but that instead might help us to look differently about how we interact with our money. Now, as we dive into this sermon series, I just want to own money is not the favorite topic for most of us. Is that fair? Like some of us, we go, I'm not sure that I really want to have a conversation about money. Maybe you're like me and math is not your best subject. Anybody take the minimum required amount of math to graduate? Amen, my people, we can be friends and have a support group later. There's going to be math later in the sermon. If I get it wrong, I just want you to know, I know. It's fine. Maybe you're sitting here and you're thinking like, no, I do have enough money. I'm just not sure about where I've always spent it. I don't want my spouse or I don't want my pastor or I don't want the IRS to know what I did with my money. Maybe that's you. Maybe that you're just like a lot of us where you go, hey, when I think about money, I think two things. One, I don't have enough. And two, I want more. Maybe that's where a lot of us are. So we're going to have a conversation about money and I want it to be low stress. So we're going to talk about the opposite side. I want to talk about something that you have too much of and that you want less of. And of course, I'm talking about this beautiful, great gift that all of us are dealing with right now, which is leftover Halloween candy. There's a benefit in sitting in the front row and that you have access to candy. There's a benefit in being farther enough and that the pastor doesn't throw things at you. All right. Are you over having a bag of leftover Halloween candy somewhere inconveniently in your house? Is anybody else at that point in life? Like maybe it's causing problems with your children because they're starting to suspect that you're the reason it's getting smaller. Maybe you're like really trying to eat healthy, but now you're at the point where your willpower is absolutely toast and your body's craving more and more and more sugar. And it used to be that like, oh man, I'm going to have just one piece. And now it's like, man, we've got to get rid of this. So it's actually good for everyone if I eat the whole bag. Anybody had that talk? Amen. Amen. You're in good company. Maybe you're at that place where like you've worked through all the like Butterfingers are gone, Reese's are gone, Snickers are gone. You've got like leftover licorice and last year's candy corn. Enjoy that combo, right? We could talk about candy and it'd be a really easy analogy for money. I could talk about all the hard stuff, right? So we could talk about how for a lot of us, candy, when we eat too much candy, it gives us a tummy ache. And sometimes how we spend money does the same thing. And it hurts us in our guts. We could talk about hoarding, and I could dedicate that entire sermon to the kid who in the 1 minute I was upstairs putting Finn to bed, emptied my entire bucket of candy into his bag and walked off, and no other children got candy. I'm going to find you. We could have dad jokes. And I could talk about how candy is the root of all root canals. Somebody give me a groan. There we go. But instead, I want to paint a picture of hope. Because this candy isn't something I bought at the store. This is all that is left over of the palletfuls of candy that you as a church donated so that we could have an incredible event called Trunk or Treat last weekend. This is all that is left over of the thousands of pieces of candy that we were able to give out. People who could have picked out your favorite candy and kept it all to yourself and never shared with anybody, but instead, people gave candy and we were able to invite the entire community and hundreds of people, maybe somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000. Pastor Math, 12,000 people came. People who could have stayed home and worked on their own Halloween costumes, could have decorated their house, instead chose to decorate trunks and park them out in a field. And we had twice as many trunks come as last year. People who could have focused their resources and their time and their talent and their treasure on themselves chose to pull it all together, and we had an incredible experience for the entire community to sit and bask in the glow of fireworks. Friends, I might not be proud of the amount of my son's candy that I have eaten. I mean, it's kind of impressive, but I'm still not proud of it. It's not good for my waistline. I might not be proud of that, but I am so proud of the way that you as a church loved our entire community, and that you sacrificed and you chose to give of what you had to make a difference and bless people around us, because you and our church and so many like you chose to do something different with what you had, to live with intention and generosity. Our entire community was blessed. See, money and Halloween candy and time and talents and treasure and a whole bunch of other things have the opportunity to make an impact. We get to choose what we do with it. And so we're going to talk about money today without shame. And please, I don't want you to hear that I'm judging you off of anything. Actually, I'm going to start by telling you about how I've gotten this wrong. And throughout this sermon series, we're going to look at the places where what we choose to do with our finances impacts not just our bank account, but impacts our relationship with the people around us and with the God who made us.